This podcast is brought to you by Casa de la Zissa and by Valina.
The Final Frontier podcast. These are the voyages of Jake Boger and Justin Spur. Our weekly mission, to explore memories of Star Trek's strange new worlds, to recall the search for new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has had the spare time to go before. Welcome, everyone, to the Final Frontier podcast. Today, I'm not going to say this is the worst episode, but I think it's the second worst episode we've come across thus far.
Really interesting.
This one's not so much bad as boring.
Yeah, okay, thank you. This is why we do this show. There's those moments where it's like, I agree. I was bored. So bored.
This episode horribly failed the phone test.
I love that you've adopted the phone test. I appreciate it. I can't because I take notes, so it can't fail the phone test. Right. I need the phone to take notes. So, but if were there a phone test for this to subject it to, it absolutely would have failed it. Yeah.
This would have been a shall we say, if this were a recreational rewatch, this would have been let's just skip this one.
Yeah, the first 20 minutes of it are really dry. And then the last little bit of it picks up a little bit.
But not enough to, but we'll get there. We're, of course, talking about Star Trek Season 2, Episode 18, The Immunity Syndrome. And just like the title of this episode, doesn't make any sense.
No, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. I was trying to find a moment where I'm like, like last week they said the thing. They never said the thing here.
This episode takes place between stardates 4307.1 and 4309.4, and the in-universe date is still the year 2268, and this episode originally aired January 19th, 1968. And it was written by Robert Sabaroff and directed by our good friend Joseph Pevney with a rare miss.
Yeah, he did miss on this one. I did have a note. The question, I don't know if you have a note of this or if you know this. Do you think Sabaroff is Russian?
At the very least, Eastern European.
Yeah. Because I was like,
it's a Slavic name.
Slavic name. That's what I figured. Because I was like, Cold War era writing. That's pretty impressive that they like. If it sounded even vaguely Russian at that time, I have to assume that there had to be some level of prejudice.
Maybe not, because there are plenty of Polish people,
Fair. No, you're fair. That's
Poles,
fair.
Lithuanian. That's why I say Romanian. Eastern European is very. There's a swath of folks in that camp that are also very anti-Russian.
Yeah, also fair. Yeah, not a popular
Ukrainians, for example.
Yeah, no, they're not the lovers of the Russians. That is true.
Well, at least not all of them. But a fun note: this is the last episode that Joseph Pevney directed, who, along with our friend Mark Daniels with a C, holds the record for directing the most episodes of the series at 14 each. So they tied.
I'm a little disappointed. I'm gonna be sad to see him go because, they're not all hits, but most of them were.
Most of them were, yeah. Most of them were at least fun.
Also, now I can't say he's the PEV dispenser anymore, and that's just, that's a real.
Well,
letdown.
we can say it one more time. The PEV dispenser has left the building, or at least will not leave the building.
He didn't dispense some quality on his way out, but we'll allow it.
Giving him the benefit of the doubt. There were some actually really good performances, so I'll attribute that to the acting and directing. But this was an example of he was given a script and was probably like, "What am I supposed to do with this?"
It has that vibe. It definitely does. Yeah.
But Justin, would you like to grace us with the Paramount Plus description as brought to you by Paramount Plus?
I would. God, this gave me nothing. I did. I think it's going to be a theme of this episode. It's just it gave me nothing because it just said they have to save the galaxy from a space amoeba, and I was like, "What is?" So
But
my first
but
question.
do they? I mean, I guess it does hint later on that this would be a galactic killing
They kind of.
anomaly, but
I was going to say they equate it to culling an invasive species.
I mean, to be fair, which again, there's a lot of moments in this episode where they describe it more like a virus and at times even call it a virus. And I have a note on
Yeah.
that later, but it's like one of these things is not like the other, and
Right.
you're conveniently conflating them when the script needs you to.
Yep. Absolutely. And then just my only other note I had was, will it look silly?
Oh,
Which I got another note on the looks
it
of what it
looked
looks like
it looked real
later.
silly. It looked real silly, man.
It looked very silly, man.
Our story begins with the USS Enterprise, scheduled for rest and relaxation, receiving a garbled message from Starfleet mentioning the USS Intrepid, a Federation starship crewed entirely by Vulcans. Spock suddenly looks shocked and announces that he felt the Intrepid die. So, I guess Vulcans are full on telepathic now.
Well, okay.
That was
Opening
convenient.
opening sequence. Number of things all in a row. Number one. I don't know what it is whenever they transition from like Kirk doing the captain's log as a voiceover to him doing it like in person. I'm always like I just picture like the random captain's log in the middle of and him having to take a moment to do a captain's log and the other crew being like, dude, is this is this the time for that? No, it's absolutely the time for that, Spock. And then yeah, when Spock made the face, he's like, my Spock senses are tingling.
It's like I have ESPN or something.
A joke that will
Bam,
never get old.
millennial humor.
Starfleet then orders Captain Kirk to investigate the Gamma 7A system, the Intrepid's last known position. So okay, we're gonna get nitpicky here, but that's because that's what we do on this show.
That's what we do.
So and I kind of forget. Well, no, actually, this is even worse because Kirk is the only one who makes this mistake. Spock actually says it properly later, but Kirk refers to it as the Gamma solar system. That is incorrect, and Kirk should know that as a Starfleet captain because the solar system refers to our system
I was
being.
gonna say that felt wrong when he said it, but I wasn't sure if it was wrong, so I didn't want to call it out and be stupid.
But Kirk is the only one who says it. Now you can get real nitpicky and say like, well, sol is just Latin for sun, so solar. But if we're being that guy, because
Oh, what?
as
We
we
are.
all know, technically correct is the best kind of correct.
Oh, it is.
Spock actually refers to it as the Gamma 7A system twice, I believe, which is correct. Now, that
I
is
mean,
also assuming that the star is Gamma 7A.
I feel like that's like a double implication. Well, there's two possibilities. Like either the show is that clever in its writing, and like it's believable that Kirk maybe would make a mistake that simple, or William Shatner could not be bothered to learn the name of this place, and I could believe either.
Well, and it's an understandable mistake because everybody refers to solar system kind of. They're almost always talking about ours, but
Yeah.
it's a system that revolves around the sun, so it's an understandable mistake for somebody watching a YouTube video, but one would think for a Starfleet captain that would.
I mean, yeah, you one would think, one would think.
Ensign Chekhov reports that the sensors show no life readings in the billion inhabitant system. Meanwhile, Spock is examined by Dr. McCoy in sickbay, where he explains he felt the combined shock and terror in the minds of 400 fellow Vulcans aboard the Intrepid as they died. McCoy is amazed that Spock felt anything over the distance involved, but admits there is a lot about Vulcans he doesn't understand. This scene's kind of weird because, once again, this is a Spock McCoy scene that solely exists for some kind of characterization, which I think does enrich the characters, but it doesn't really paint either of them in a particularly good light. And the note I had is Spock kind of has a point here, but for a Vulcan, it comes across really emotional and just a tad sassy.
Uh, yes, I really liked McCoy's. We're gonna talk about it as the arc as a whole at the end, but I really enjoyed his arc in this episode. But yeah, I did have a note that is this medical spacism. And then just at the end of the scene, did Spock call out McCoy's medical spacism? Because it kind of seemed like he did. He was like, I don't understand your wacky Vulcan biology. Maybe you could be psychic. I don't know. I'm spacist. Like, I don't know. It just had that vibe to me. But you're right. You're right. It does purely exist to set up a conflict later, which we're gonna talk about.
And again, this whole episode's kind of weird in both of their characterizations, but Bones in particular, because they're both like really willing to go on a suicide mission for the sake of science. And I'm kind of like, listen, I get loving your job,
right?
But I mean, this comes across as a little loony.
My thing was like, what exactly was happening was never explicitly clear to me. Like in some scenes they're tired, in other scenes they're jerks. It wasn't the thing itself and what it was doing. Just for 90% of the 90% is a high percentage, but for a lot of it wasn't made clear. It was just a lot of people falling forward and falling over and being kind of a.
Hey, there were some really cool falling backward shots, but we'll get there.
Honestly, yes. You're not wrong.
There's one moment in particular where I want to shout this person out because just bravo.
Some people went flying, and I was like, you know me, I appreciate some simulated ship moving. You know, I love stuff like that.
I will jump ahead. There's a moment towards the end where everybody's flopping around, but Kirk's still in his chair, and it's just kind of swiveling, and it's unintentionally very funny because everybody else is like, "Oh my God, we're dying," and Kirk's just kind of like,
weathering it. My favorite is when he runs to the chair because the chair is it's part of it. The chair is part of it.
Spock returns to the bridge just as Lieutenant Uhura announces she has lost contact with Starfleet. Kirk has Spock scan a dark zone that appears in the main view screen. Suddenly, half the crew are sickened or faint. Spock is unable to determine the nature of the zone, but suggests it is some kind of energy turbulence and possibly responsible for the death of the system inhabitants and the Intrepid crew. Kirk has Chekhov launch a sensor probe into the void. The probe transmits a piercing, high-pitched noise before contact with it is lost. I would like to take this moment to correct Dumb and Dumber because this is the most annoying sound in the world.
Yeah, it was. It split my ear. I got my inner ear. I went, stop that, please. Oh my God.
In an effort to prove our point, we will swap the audio from those clips, and you can decide.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Like no word of a lie. Like it I was like, oh, it made me physically like, oh, I hate this.
Now my question is, was it more annoying or less annoying on a 1968 television?
Oh, interesting. I would say more annoying, but they wouldn't know any better. Because CRT televisions sound like shit.
That's true, but there may have been some static interference that made it more palatable, ironically, because the whole white noise thing.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I'm listening to it in HD, and like, yeah, in HD, man, it oh my God, it was awful. I was like, this sucks.
If you watch this episode on an old television, let us know in the comments. Which one was worse?
I was gonna say, if you're somehow watching this on a CRT television, how?
CDZ Collegia Musica is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. It is a kind of school of music, a concert series, and an agency that promotes the musicians, dedicated artists, and educators who we feature as our performers. The goal of the Collegium is to bring community together through music performance. These performances vary in musical style from classical to jazz, and music from different parts of the world, from India to the Middle East, that'd be like Persia, and Japan, and China. The goal is to also educate us to how music functions, not so much as a musical universal language, because there are differences in the way that these languages of music are expressed, but to educate us to be able to be more appreciative, not only of the music, but the culture it represents. And by doing this, it brings community together.
Kirk orders the ship into the zone. As it enters, the piercing sound returns, and all the stars disappear from the view screen. Dr. McCoy then reports that the crew are getting worse, and Chief Engineer Scott reports a loss of power. Spock surmises that the ship has entered a sort of negative energy field that interferes with biological and mechanical processes. This is around the part where Bones is, for a brief moment, Bones is the sole voice of reason who's like, let's just get out of here. And I'm like, I'm with Bones on this one.
We should just leave.
This feels like a tremendously bad idea because, like, it sucks now, and, like, you know it's going to suck more as you get... And I'm not saying don't go back, but, like, you know nothing about the thing.
Yeah.
Let's maybe learn some more about the thing. Now, everybody who's seen the episode is going to be like, yeah, but it worked out in the end. I'm like, yeah, but, I mean, there's a lot of plot armor in this episode.
Quite a bit. Okay, I think I do have a note here that says a lot of this episode takes place in one room on the bridge. And, like, maybe if this was made today and we could have some exterior ship shots of it penetrating the thing, then it might be interesting. But this is where it gets real dull. It's a lot of them looking sweaty and saying that they're in pain while not actually being in pain. Like, it was just not very interesting.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of smell the fart acting going on here. It's
quite a bit of it, yeah.
Except Kirk, he's just like, is that honey?
He's like, I'm gonna be a and then I'm gonna apologize immediately for being a while still being a That's most of Kirk in this episode.
So, like, he's being a flaccid?
Yeah, that joke's gonna be funny in 15 minutes. Joke's gonna be real funny. I'm just saying, get your "that's what she said" counter ready. Prepare for that to happen. Also, McCoy has a line that says that the stimulants will catch up with you. Yeah, stimulants will always catch up with you. It's just a thing. When you do too much of them, they always catch up with you.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of this episode could have been solved with cocaine.
Now, as we know, though, I bet he wasn't using cordrazine. They weren't acting nearly loopy enough.
No.
Nah, he was using the soft stuff. Come on, Bones.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like,
who needs amphetamine when you have cordrazine?
I feel like cordrazine's like the next level above amphetamines, though.
Now, as scary as the thought of methed up German soldiers is, imagine cordrazine.
Jeez. Yeah, that would have been some psycho behavior.
Oof.
I like that. There's a really funny bit where they're like, we could put some of the energy into the shields, and Spock is like, if we do that, we're just delaying our slow inevitable deaths. And Scotty gives him a look of, wow, you're a real ray of sunshine.
Well, you know what though? I mean, just being honest here, using a real world application. The Titan submersible that went to see the Titanic.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would have preferred the instant poof as opposed to the slow, agonizing crunching. I'm with Spock on this one.
I'm not a gay. It's just the way he said it just made me laugh. It was like he's so like morose.
Well, but I mean, let's be honest here. Humans can tend to have a little bit too much hope in certain. That sounds really bad when I say it, but it's kind of like.
It's kind of true though.
Yeah, we kind of hold on hope when it's like, nah, I think we're screwed.
Yeah, and we're probably should put our heads between our legs and kiss our butts goodbye. And then obviously, I love questioning the what's the word I'm looking for, like the administrative side of the Enterprise. So like in this meeting where it's Bones, it's Scotty, it's Kirk, and then it's three people you've never heard of. One of which looks like he was supposed to be Sulu because he kind of looks like Sulu. So it makes me wonder if at some point George Takei was going to be in that scene, and then just for whatever reason he couldn't be in this episode, so they swapped out a guy that kind of looks like him. Who are these people? Like, why wouldn't you have Uhura who else would you have? Uhura, Chekhov, and well, I guess Sulu. But all of the main. It's weird that half of the main cast is there in that scene, and the rest of them walk off, and Kirk doesn't address any of them. It's like, go do your respective jobs. What are their jobs, Kirk? Say their names, Kirk. What are their names?
Well, you're assuming he knows them.
No, I'm assuming he doesn't know them.
And speaking of Chekhov, though, man, bad hair day in this episode.
He's having it's looking like he's having a bad wig day.
No, he doesn't have a wig at this point.
Oh, he doesn't have a wig at the... Okay, never mind.
He's already had bad wig days, but this was just bad hair day.
This is just a bad hair day.
The Enterprise appears to accelerate of its own accord, and the ship's engines seem to operate in reverse. Forward thrust slows the ship down. Kirk suggests that all available power be channeled into a massive forward thrust in the hope of breaking free of the zone, but the effort succeeds only in bringing the ship to a halt. This is a point in the episode where it's like they keep talking about their options, and I'm like, this whole thing seems just like a very, very bad idea. And again, I will reiterate, so your master plan is to hit it really hard. And hope that it breaks and not your much smaller ship.
When you put it reductively like that, yeah, anything sounds like a bad idea.
Well, I mean, it works for Goku.
Wait, I think I might have a way to beat him.
If you say hit him really hard, I swear to God, I will kick you in the dick!
I guess we could hit him really hard together?
Whatever.
Exactly. Sometimes hitting them really, really hard works. I'm not saying it would have worked in this specific instance, but a lot of times it works.
What if we hit him really hard together?
If they had got there soon enough and the two ships hit it really, really hard together, that could have worked.
Logical.
Maybe, but we'll never know because the Vulcans were just too curious. They were.
No, they couldn't. They couldn't. I can't. I preemptively make that they couldn't probe it properly.
Their quarry is finally revealed to be a gigantic, multicolored object resembling an amoeba. Kirk launches a sensor probe into it, which reveals that the object is indeed made of protoplasm and alive. McCoy believes that a crude probe may be sent into the creature to gather data needed to destroy it, and volunteers himself. Spock insists that he is better qualified. Kirk is reluctant to send either, arguing that it would be a suicide mission, and that if anyone should go, it should be him, the captain. But Spock points out that Kirk is not a science specialist and is much better served commanding the Enterprise. And at this point, of all the bad ideas we've seen up to this point, this one's definitely the worst. Why are 3 senior officers sitting around arguing about who's going to go die and not suggesting that they just leave? And I came up with, why don't all 3 of you go, and then Scotty can just get the Enterprise out of there?
I mean, for a lot of... When the decision came down to the 2 of them, I went, why can't both of them go?
Well, because he doesn't want to lose both of them. He has to pick one, but... And see, here's the thing. I may be misremembering the plot, and we'll get there, but I don't think Spock's information even leads to them killing the thing.
No.
I don't think so.
I just watched this not 45 minutes ago, and I'm going to say yes, no. Kirk does have a line about how they've discovered something thanks to Spock's information. Spock was trying to tell us this, and then that leads to them defeating the thing. So I think it does in small part, but no, it's not like he has a big hero moment and then he saves the day. They come up with the notion of being antibodies independently of him, but
that's right. Yeah, that's a conversation with him and Kirk, and then the whole antimatter thing. Which again, I don't really know how you get from antibody to antimatter, but
I think the correlation is that the antimatter, in this case, it being that's when they start to equate it to a virus, and they're like, if it's a virus, we're the antibodies. Is the correlation, I think.
Yeah, but that's not...
Look, I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm just saying that's the internal logic.
But I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, Mr. Armstrong.
I mean, I don't disagree. What it is confused at best. I mean, I've got so many notes about this thing. Is that a one-eyed purple people eater?
No, because it doesn't have one horn.
Oh, it doesn't. But I was surprised with the sheer amount of purple. Also, I'm pretty sure it was CGI replaced, and that's not what it looked like originally. And then I just said, of course, Kirk wants to immediately probe it. Come on, at least buy dinner first. But obviously, and it goes without saying.
That's what she said.
Of course, they introduced the idea of using the notoriously reliable shuttlecraft. I knew you would love that.
Ooh, yeah. I have a note.
I do have a question about the shuttlecraft. I will do it now. NCC 1702/7. Is that the Galileo?
It is the Galileo.
It is, of course, the Galileo! Oh, no!
You can barely see it, but you can see, at least in the updated episode, you can actually see Galileo written on the hull.
They pull it up, and I went, no.
I'm surprised.
No.
You can tell Spock isn't that superstitious because he didn't take one look at that shuttle and go, "Nope, I'm out."
Nope, I'm out. Bones, you can go. Oh my God, that's funny.
He did seem dead set on dying, so maybe he was like, "Huh, that's appropriate."
That is so funny. Also, I got so many. I another note. I also know to go slow when I penetrate, and also that is definitely. Okay, get the archive out because they're coming.
That's what she said.
There was too many at one point.
That's what she said.
There was too many.
Well, they say the word penetrate far too many times.
Just entirely too many times. Sorry. When to estimate penetration, and the area of penetration will be sensitive.
Oh, come on! That's what she said.
Oh, okay. I'm good. I promise. I'll be good.
Kirk is then forced to choose which of his two friends to send out, with a realistic probability he won't return. Kirk ultimately chooses Spock, agreeing that he is better equipped to handle the mission. Spock pilots the shuttle through the creature's outer membrane and makes his way toward the nucleus. I also noticed, I don't know if you noticed, the levers in the shuttle where Spock's doing like the 3-finger deal. Those are steak knife handles.
No, I did not notice that. I did not. Oh, I got so distracted. Speaking of that did you notice, just to go all the way back to the beginning, did you notice Kirk take a sneak peek at that blonde girl's ass?
The blonde or the brunette at the end?
Both. At the beginning, there's a moment where
I missed the blonde. But as we know, Kirk is ready for some R&R.
He's ready. He says the line twice, and it's my favorite line. Is when the blonde walks by at the beginning, and he's like, I'm looking forward to get some rest or relaxation on planet, and he says it as the girl walks by, and he looks at her butt.
Yeah, and he does it at the end too with the brunette.
At the end too, and I was like,
wow,
loving a good call back. Somebody call HR.
Which apparently that was an ad lib on William Shatner's part, adding the planet part on some planet, and the planet he's referring to is her anus.
Yes, excellent. I thought I did the jokes on this show.
Oh, I couldn't help it. I'm 12.
I'm 12.
It's okay. I'm also 12.
Eventually, Spock reports that the creature is ready to reproduce.
That's what she said.
And suggests a method of destroying it, but the key part of the message is garbled. Kirk and McCoy meet to discuss the situation, and Kirk speculates that if the organism is like an invading virus, which again, viruses and amoebas are not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
Then an equivalent to antibodies is needed to destroy it. And at that point, I wrote down verbatim, amoebas are not viruses. Even if Kirk doesn't know this, McCoy certainly would. And Kirk should know this. But McCoy would absolutely know this.
Yeah, I could see Kirk's not a biologist. Why would he know? But you're a doctor, son. You should know.
Well, but Kirk specializes in human biology, at least.
I mean, that.
Which, okay. I actually have to. We dig on Captain Kirk a lot, but actually, if you look through the series, and actually, oh gosh, I'm forgetting his name. He does a lot of really fascinating Star Trek videos, and he digs deep. He has a whole video. I'll actually link it in the description where he's like, is Captain Kirk really a womanizer? And actually, if you look at his past, he seems to be a serial monogamist.
I would not characterize him. No, because he never very rarely does he actively pursue. He's showing up to the museum. He's looking at the art gallery. He's not buying any of the paintings. No.
But even when he does pursue, it's not not so much a one night thing. It's like, oh, she and I would have a really nice family if we got to know each other. Kelvin timeline Kirk is a different story. We're talking about Prime.
There's a couple of moments where we recently did it, one of our recent episodes, where she's like, I'd like to come with you, and he's like, ooh.
It's like, yeah, listen,
that's not gonna work for me.
Oh, Lady Gaga.
Yeah, Lady Gaga in space. That was the one.
Like,
yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Here's the thing. Like, I'm real busy this weekend, and like, we got to do inventory, and then there's crew logs. I just it's just.
Oh no! I changed my phone number. I changed the phone number.
He gets up the Enterprise. Change the frequency on the communicator now.
I forgot to mention when he decided who was gonna go in the Galileo. I got so distracted by the Galileo. I meant to mention this. The way he delivered who was going to be on the Galileo was really uncool.
Yeah,
like it was
super uncool. Except the fact that Bones was happy about it, and then so it's like double disappointment. Yeah, that was.
It's like that moment in the comedy. Like I don't know if have you seen Horrible Bosses?
Yes.
You know the moment where Kevin Spacey seems like he's about to give, like they do it all the time in comedies. It's like a comedy trope, but where it looks like he's about to give Jason Bateman the promotion, and then he gives it to himself instead. Like that's what this reminded me of. It's like, we want to hire the best guy for the job, the most accurate person in Bones. Like, yeah, the person who we think we can do it, and that person's gonna be Spock.
Disappointed.
Dude, why did you?
And he apologizes to Spock first. That's the real.
I know he's like you have to get all the metrics up to the position that Bones says that they should be, so Spock can get the job. Good job, Spock. What are you doing, man?
It's like you got to train the guy who took your promotion. Ugh.
I know we've all been there.
I was gonna say I have actually been there.
I have actually been there. I have very much been there. Hey, we need you to train the guy who's about to take your job. Oh. I'm a good person, but also f*** you.
Forsan Records is proud to introduce the newest album from Valena, including the singles Cut Me to the Quick, and Remedy. Valena, Save Me From Myself, available now wherever you get your music.
Kirk takes the Enterprise into the creature's body. That's not a That's What She Said, but like, really?
I mean, there was a That's What She Said, though. There's a That's What She Said moment, and it's after they've penetrated the creature and everyone looks exhausted. Like, I too become exhausted after I've entered somebody's body.
That's what he says?
Damn it. I'm so sorry. I feel like this episode should be called I'm So Sorry.
And Kirk orders Chief Engineer Scott to prepare an antimatter bomb with a timer set for a 7-minute delay. The bomb is fired into the cell's nucleus, and the Enterprise backs out. With seconds remaining, Spock's shuttle is finally located, and Kirk orders Scotty to tow it in with a tractor beam. Actually, he orders it towed in with 2 tractor beams because, if you're going to use more power.
Hey, sometimes you need to double bag it.
I mean, you do want to make sure that.
Never double. Oh God, I don't want that to be my legacy.
You do want to make sure you pull out entirely.
That's what she said.
My favorite. There's so many good moments in this little bit, but I enjoyed the moment when Spock's like, "Don't save me," and Kirk and McCoy actively are like, "No, your consent is irrelevant here," and they give each other that little nod.
Oh no, McCoy is literally just like, "Shut up, Spock, we're saving you," and then Spock just can't help but be sassy and goes, "Very well, Captain McCoy."
I thought that was funny. I enjoyed that moment. I actually quite liked.
And hey, hush it, Spock, because McCoy will eventually become I know it's an admiral. What kind of admiral? I can't remember. Fleet admiral? Something. He becomes a big deal.
He becomes a big deal. I enjoyed McCoy's character arc throughout this episode of like discovering friendship with Spock. Like I kind of like I like the ending bit where he was like, all right, we should save him. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed the little moment of Kirk being like, all right, yeah, we gotta save this guy.
So yeah, definitely. With power levels nearly exhausted, the ship approaches the outer membrane just as the bomb explodes. I gotta say, kudos to the guy who did a full front flip over the rail. That was awesome.
Yeah. There was the one where there was like they were doing all kinds of weird Dutch angles, and I was like, this is working for me.
And they're doing like the weird like effect, which I appreciated.
Yeah. Look, the more you can commit to throwing yourself, again, it's just like in Doctor Who and the TARDIS. The more you can commit to throwing yourself around a soundstage to look like you're in an actual spaceship, the more believable it is, and the more fun it becomes.
And also, I'm no physicist, but if that thing feeds on pure energy, you'd better hope that all the matter is destroyed when it meets the antimatter bomb, because if not, the matter and antimatter simply convert to pure energy, and if anything's left of that energy-sucking amoeba, you just turned it into a Super Saiyan.
Yeah, that's true.
It does work out, though, so...
Thinking on it, like, we always do the... Surely there's a scientific benefit to this creature. Like, surely you could, like, I don't know, test weapons on it, for example, or, like, high energy yield test things that require a high energy yield testing. You could hit it with that, surely.
That if it stays one, I could see that, but they say it's getting ready to divide. And that's true. And that's mitosis, kids. Is it mitosis with amoeba? Yeah, it would, because that's just a single cell division.
I gotta be honest with you, I don't remember my high school biology, so I'm gonna say yes. That's
well, because meiosis is cellular division, but specifically sexual gametes.
That does sound right. I recognize the word mitosis, so that does sound right.
Yeah, mitosis is just cellular division.
Science rules.
Yeah, which is what this would technically be?
Yeah, because amoebas are just a single-celled organism, as far as I'm aware. If we're incorrect, you will see the correction now.
Hello, Vital Frontier viewers. This is Ensign, actually, here to fact-check our intrepid hosts. You fellas were half right, because, technically speaking, the nucleus of an amoeba divides via mitosis, but the rest of the amoeba divides through a process called binary fission. So, you were almost right.
Both the Enterprise and the shuttle are thrown clear of the organism as it is destroyed. And literally, I said this out loud. I said, well, look at that. They killed it dead.
Killed it. Killed it good and dead.
The
Enterprise... It's coming right for us.
The Enterprise is restored to full power and sustains only minor damage. Kirk, while glancing at a female yeoman, yes, that was in the outline, I did not add that, says he looks forward to recreation. Ew.
I believe what he says, he looks forward to getting on a planet. Or is it something
rest
about
and
getting
relaxation on a nice planet.
That's what it was. Nice planet. Again, he says it twice. I'm just putting that out there. It was the line so nice he said it twice. I'm never going to get tired of saying that.
Literally, like again, I apologize for the viewers. There just wasn't a lot, because this was... Now, technically, you could argue this wasn't a bottle episode because we do see the interior of a shuttlecraft, but it's a bottle episode.
I did have a note that asked that question if it was a bottle episode. I would consider it a bottle episode because it takes place within a spaceship the whole time.
It depends on how technical you want to get, but in the terms of production, yes, it's a bottle episode because those are all existing sets.
Yeah. Well, I guess the thing that prevents it from being is Spock being on the Galileo, but
it's still considered a bottle episode.
I would very, and that makes it dull. I just don't think that.
I mean, this is just. It's not the worst. The worst still belongs to the alternative factor because that was just bad. That was bad and stupid and boring. This one was just boring.
I gotta be. Me and Jordan have this conversation a lot of what's worse. An episode that is boring and forgettable and that you're going to forget in 2 minutes, or one that was so bad that you're like, this is astonishingly terrible. At least you remember it for being memorable?
The second. That's worse, because at least you forget the boring one.
That's a valid point. That is a valid point, yeah.
It doesn't weigh on your mind. So because I still to this day think about the alternative factor, I'm like, God, that was so bad.
God, that was bad. I had a bad time. I don't know. I didn't have a bad time this week.
This was just kind of like playing dominoes with your grandmother. It's like, eh.
Yeah, I like normally like a real solid nothing happens in it episode is carried by like a goofy performance, a silly co-star, or like a genuinely off.
This episode needed some Harry Mudd. Just gonna say.
Yeah. Or like I think maybe Bones needed to get more melodramatic or something. I don't know. Didn't have enough melodrama to sustain being in one location the whole time. I think is maybe what it is.
Yeah, it seemed a lot of forced drama when it's like everyone should just agree that we should just leave.
Yeah, well, but also like there's the potential for them all being on edge. Like if you want to make like the, I hate making suggestions. Like you make it so they can't leave. That's
I hate to be this guy, but if an antimatter bomb works inside the thing, then it would theoretically work outside the thing, so long as it comes in contact with the membrane.
Yeah, you could have and then shot it into. But Kirk makes the argument that it needs to be specific, but
it doesn't. Just by its very name, because all antimatter needs to cause an explosion, and this is referenced in the episode Obsession when they also use an antimatter bomb. It just needs to come into contact with matter. That's all it needs.
True. I will give credit. There was a moment where I went, if I didn't know any better, I think Spock was going to die.
Oh sure, but we knew better.
Yeah, and so I will give it that credit. Is there is a certain level of tension there when it comes to Spock. Like they all act like he's dead, and so like from an audience perspective, I don't know that he's coming back. I mean, I know that he's coming back.
That is fair.
by that metric, the drama is all right, but it's just it then is undercut by them magically saving him at the end by a space lasso, basically.
And just one final fun note, unless you have anything else to add. This is the last time the interior of a shuttlecraft will be shown in this series.
Really?
Apparently. So we will never. Now, if we see another one, believe you me, I'm going to be like, hey, that was wrong.
That was incorrect.
But it's been correct on things thus far.
God, that season 3 must be really bad. It's just every time you're like, this is the last time we see this. I'm like that. That means season 3 must be pretty bad.
They did get a budget cut, so.
Really?
Well, season 3 only exists because it was technically canceled during the second season, but there was a letter writing campaign that got Paramount to green light the third season.
Really?
Or not Paramount, NBC.
Interesting.
Although I think, no, actually by this point Paramount did own it because they recently, I don't know if it was, I think Paramount had bought it by this point.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, just
because I didn't notice we're coming up on the end of the season already. I was like, wow, it feels like we just started this.
It does, yeah. Season 2 went quick. We had some highs, couple lows, but mostly highs.
Mostly highs.
But speaking of lows, next week.
No.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty low. Next week, we're going to take a look at the episode A Private Little War, which Justin, as per tradition, would you like to take a guess at what we will see in A Private Little War? And I'm just going to forewarn you, you will not get it right. I will give you a hint though. It's so much worse than you think it's going to be. Like it's so problematic.
I'm gonna guess. I'm just gonna go hog wild because I'm getting this wrong no matter what. I'm gonna guess that the Klingons, a Klingon general, is privately funding a war between two small planets.
Okay, you're oddly close. It's not two
what
planets.
Really? No way.
It's not two planets. It's two humanoid species on one planet.
All right. Okay. All right. Interesting.
It's not. It's not Cold War coded at all.
Wait. Did I get the Klingon part of that right?
Oh yeah. It's
no way.
It's totally not talking about Vietnam or anything.
No, definitely not.
No,
and there's no way that that we're possibly going to equate it to any modern day political drama.
Actually, it does fit much more snugly in Vietnam, but I will also leave you with this. Kirk quotes the Constitution of the United States.
All right.
No, I am not making that up, and I am not being hyperbolic.
Oh no. Is it weird? I'm looking forward to it. That sounds funny.
Bad. Oh, you're gonna have a blast. But you're also going to say, oh no, a lot.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
My 2 favorite words. Oh no.
But join us next week when we look at the episode A Private Little War. We're going to have fun.
That we will.
And until then, watch long and prosper.
I also would have taken the Korean War, the Iran-Contra affair. Man, America does sure seem to do this a lot.
I made mention of Kirk reading the preamble to the Constitution of the United States. I got the episode mixed up, but when we get there, you'll see why, because they're similar aesthetically.
This scene's uncomfy. That is very much a non-consensual 1960s kiss.